Hi there, this is Caitlin, your digital marketing educator here at Shaw Academy. You're all very welcome back to Lesson 7 in Module 1 of your Professional Diploma in Digital Marketing. Today we're going to be talking about data-driven marketing and sales and how it can help you out. I hope everybody's doing well and that you're excited for this lesson. I cannot believe that it's already Lesson 7, but let's go on right ahead and see what we're getting stuck into today. But before we do that, I just want to give you yet another little factoid. Did you know that 81% of marketers consider data the most underutilized asset in marketing organizations? Now, this was from 2015, so it is a couple of years old, but it still stands that data it's incredibly useful and it's incredibly underused just because we don't really know how to use it correctly. So, lesson 6, just a bit of a recap. We had a look at the sales funnel. I explained the whole concept to you. We spoke about nurturing your customer journey, the journey of your potential customer, your lead down that funnel, down your sales funnel, okay? And I showed you a couple of really handy email tools or email marketing tools, as well as some best practices that you can implement yourselves. All right, and then we had our summary and all of that good stuff. Today's lesson, we're going to be talking about the importance of data, how to use data to drive sales, okay? These two go hand in hand because the ability to drive sales is what makes understanding and analyzing that data so important. We're also going to go and look briefly at Facebook Insights to get a better understanding of how useful it is to us. And then we will have our summary, some career guidance, and our FAQ as per usual. So let's get kicking. Okay, the first thing that we're going to look at today is data analysis. So let's actually get started by looking at a little definition here. So data analysis is the process of systematically applying statistical and or logical techniques to describe and illustrate, condense and recap, and evaluate data. Okay? So, why is data so important in digital marketing? I want you to type into your chat box exactly why data is so important. Why do you think we should be looking at and caring about that information, that data? Let's have a look here then, okay? Let's get into it just a little bit. So with data, you are basically able to know what content is working and what isn't, okay? You can measure the effectiveness of what you're doing online. Whether it's a piece of content like a blog post or an ad on Google that you're running, you can actually see and track exactly what type of traction you're getting from every single piece of effort that you put in. The information that you can now get, okay, you can see exactly what content is being viewed, where it's being shared, whether it is or isn't being shared, and stuff like how much time people spend looking at it, how many people came, as an example, that's a bounce rate, how many people came in, looked at it, and left within the first 5 seconds. There's so much information available to us. You know, you might have friends and family who will say to you, say you post a blog post, and they may say to you, you know, the website's great and the content you've posted is amazing, and I might think it's amazing and you might think it's amazing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to lead to conversions. What we think is good is not always the case, okay? So you do have to get real data about what is working and make some scientific decisions on those things. You can also get a far better understanding of your customers. Okay, you can get demographic information on them, but you can also track where they're coming from. You know, did they come through a Google search, or maybe it was a specific ad campaign that you placed, or an email campaign, maybe they came from social, you know, all sorts of avenues. You can also track their behavior on your site, okay? So what pages did they visit? How long were they on certain pages? Did they get to a certain page and then drop off? Is that common across all of your visitors? By tracking that customer journey, you can see where things are going well and where maybe they need a little bit of fine-tuning and a little bit of work. You can also track the number of conversions and sales. Okay, you can tell Google that if people land on a certain page, like a thank you for your purchase page as an example, that they have become a conversion. So you can set certain things up that Google will then measure for you and give that valuable data to you about. All right, it's pretty straightforward. So now, with data analysis, there is a really important note that I want to cover here as well. It's an idea that we need to just become a little bit familiar with, and this is correlation versus causation. Okay, so I want you to type it into your chat boxes. Does anyone know what I mean by, when I'm talking about correlation and causation? What might I mean by the difference between the two? And how could that be important to us when we're doing analytics of data? Type it into your chat box. Let us know what you think. Okay, guys, well, first, let me say this, and we will look at what I mean in a little moment, but correlation doesn't always equal causation, which is the point that we need to understand, okay? We need to make sure that we're looking at the right things when it comes to making business decisions, and also, properly understanding our data when we use that to make those decisions as well. So let's take a look at some examples here that might give you a better idea of what I'm trying to say. Okay, so correlation here as an example, let's just have a look. You've got is Facebook driving the Greek debt crisis? Now, it is a couple of years old, but it's a good example. You can see that they are both moving in the same trend, okay? So looking at the black and the yellow lines there, you can see that they're both growing in the same line. But that is correlation, okay? But what causation means is that the two correlated numbers, so the similar numbers, are actually related to one another. So one line is the cause of the other line to move. So in this graph, okay, as I said, we can see that the numbers are correlating. We've got that number of users on Facebook, and you can see the growth there. And we've also got that yield on a 10-year Greek government bond. All right, so obviously the two numbers correlate to one another, but do you think there's any causation there? Type it into your chat box. Is the number of users on Facebook related to the Greek debt crisis? What do you reckon? Yeah, of course not, right? So, okay, great. So you can see that there is correlation there, but there's no causation. All right, so here is another one with one of M. Night Shyamalan's movies, okay? His movie ratings on Rotten Tomatoes and how it correlates to newspaper sales. Again, here you can see that there's a correlation between the two figures. They both follow the same kind of trend, but it is correlation, not causation, because I'm pretty sure that his movie score would not affect the total newspaper ad sales. And again, another one, okay, just to really drive the point home, where we see the US housing price index and babies named Ava, right? So again, there's correlation between these numbers, but I'm pretty sure we can say that there isn't any causation involved. All right, so the point here is that we really just need to remember that correlation does not imply causation. Just because it looks the same and it looks dependent on one another doesn't mean that it is the case. Okay, for a marketing example, let's say that you've been running an advert on Google, okay, on Google AdWords, and you've been seeing an increase in sales, but at the same time, you've also hired someone to manage the blog on your website. But you're kind of sitting there thinking that the Google AdWords campaign is what's driving the sales because there's correlation, right, between your ad and the sales. But what you really need to do when you've got all of that information is to find out where the causation is. Was it really from the ad, or maybe it was from the new blog that you created? You need to go and check the traffic on that blog and how many people clicked through there. Analytics is what is going to help you to determine that, right? You need to look for what the cause of the increase in sales is in order to make sure that you focus on the right thing going forward and you put your efforts into the right thing. You might actually find that one thing, one of your marketing efforts is far outperforming another. So why would you continue to invest in the one that isn't causing the growth? It helps you to keep your efforts quite lean. Okay, so correlation between the two variables does not imply that one causes the other. So you do need to keep that in mind. And we really have to look for the cause in any changes that we see. I want you to type into your chat box, does that make sense to everybody? Are you all on the same page? No one thinks that M. Night Shyamalan's movie caused the drop in newspaper sales. Okay, we all good. Wonderful stuff. Okay, so there are also some points to consider in all of this as well. So talking about e-commerce, it is a lot different than having a shop. So e-commerce is having an online shop, for those of you who do not know. It's an e-commerce store is somewhere that allows you to sell your goods through online means. It allows people to order from you, etc., etc. Okay, so if you run a brick and mortar store, you can see that people are coming into the shop and where they're spending their time, right? You can engage with your customer face to face, and you can kind of analyze their facial expressions and their body, like their body language, and determine what their interests are by talking to them, and you know what types of products they're drawn to. You can see all of that, and you can track certain products pretty easily. But in e-commerce, you don't have that luxury, which is where your analytics come into play in a big way. So being able to look at and analyze your analytics is like being able to see what people are looking at in your shop and where they're spending their time and what they're drawn to and what is most purchased. Okay, you can also track your total sales and find out which of your products are getting the most traction and the most sales. Because with e-commerce, you can physically see the people who are coming into your shop. You can also use analytics to get insight into their demographics, you know, such as if they're male or female and so on, you know, their ages, etc. You can also see who comes to your website, you know, what traffic you're getting versus the people who are actually buying. You can see the percentage of buyers versus who actually attends and why it might be the way that it is. You can also see what countries you're getting traffic from. You might find that you're getting a lot of traffic from a certain country, but maybe you don't have a good shipping option to that country. Say you find, oh, it's kind of weird, I'm selling these things and they seem to be, a lot of people lately are ordering from the States. You know, they're ordering from the US, but you don't really have shipping set up to send to people in the US. So from there, it gives you more information on where, firstly, your product is performing far better and where you should put or focus your energies on bettering. Okay, so you can focus on those channels then. Having access to all of this information is going to help you to create your roadmap for what is working and what isn't, and to help you to make future decisions based on the information that you're able to gather. So, as an example here, let's imagine that we had an e-commerce store, okay? And we can see that we have 100 units of sales coming in from men, okay, from male shoppers. And then 50 units of sales coming in from women, from female shoppers, okay? So with this information, tap it into your chat box, guys. What would you do in terms of your focus? What type of stock would you perhaps be focusing on getting in for your e-commerce business? Where would the focus be? Kind of, you would look at it, you know, with this information, you would probably start to focus on getting products or more products for men, right? Because this is where the most unit sales are coming from. But it's a half circle for a reason. Let's say you look a little bit further, okay, and you see that the average male spend is only €10, but the average female spend is €500. Okay, the females are actually spending more on less products than the men are who are your customers, right? So this additional information would maybe make you think a little bit more about what direction you want to go in. Okay, true, you're getting more males making more purchases, but the women are spending a lot more money on each purchase than the men are. So the point here is that you need to get all the information that you can, okay? This is all information that if you had a more traditional store, you'd be able to see with your eyes based on the people that are coming into your shop. So your analytics allows you to get the same information for your e-commerce store. And you need to assess all of the information that is available to you to make the very best possible decisions. Okay, you do need more information. So now this is a really, really simplified example, but does that make sense for everybody? Just type into your chat box, yes, no, I don't know. Because if you do, then awesome. If you don't understand, then our team will be able to help. You need to make sure that you're looking at the right data and all the data you can and getting the complete picture in order to make wiser decisions going forward. Okay, so this also plays a part in remarketing. Okay, so in your analytics, you're able to build profiles of your remarketing efforts. Okay, you can build up these profiles, and the information that you're getting about the people who spend time on your website can help you to do this really effectively. You can then use that information to tell Google to remarket to specific types of customers, right? You might also find certain commonalities about people who spend time on your website, but say they then didn't actually make a purchase. So you might want to set up a remarketing campaign targeting those people specifically. You can, of course, also remarket to customers who actually did make purchases as well, where you can upsell or downsell or cross-sell or whatever to them. Okay, you might also want to add value to existing customers and remark additional services to them, or further the engagement with follow-up information. So you can break your website viewers into different groups and remarket to those groups in different ways. On the later modules, we go into a lot more detail on remarketing, okay, in module 2. And what we're trying to do with all of this is that we're trying to get through to the high value customers. And the information that we get from our analytics will help us to get all of that information, okay? Really useful information so that we can identify where we should be putting our marketing efforts, where we should be focusing our time. Because time is very expensive. So for the people spending more time on our sites and focusing on certain pages of our websites, we want to make sure that this is where we are spending our time. Make sense? Again, okay, with the analytics, we can see, for example, what did the customer search for? What were they looking for, or what were they doing that led them to your website? What did they click on? What got them there? What did they ask Google in order to find you? Type in, guys, how do you think that might be helpful to find out what they typed in? What did they search for? It works very, very well for your SEO, your keywords, okay? So what we can do if we know how people found us online is we can start to learn what we're doing that's effective, right? Did they find us through ads that they clicked on, or was it social media? Or maybe it was a social media ad that we were running, or did they come to us through an email marketing campaign we were running? This is all really, really important information, and these are all really important factors in determining what we're doing well and what helps us to reach our potential customers as efficiently as we can. All right, so one tool that we can use in terms of using this information effectively is a URL builder, and Google offers us exactly this, and I'll show you exactly what it is shortly. So if you are using Google Ads and you are using Google Analytics, make sure that you have auto tagging enabled. Okay, it'll allow you to cross-track so that you can track from your Google Ads onto your analytics. Search engines as well, other than Google, okay, so they use tag URLs as well. So we'll talk about that in a minute. You also have your referral tags from campaign names, okay? And you'll want to also be using URL tags in your emails to track importance. So what exactly is a URL tag? Right, I've put that link up there for you to go to Google's URL builder, okay, for your campaigns. But yeah, let's have a look quickly. So this is the first page. When you click that link, it'll bring you to this page. And what you do is you can create your own URLs for your particular campaign so that you can see exactly how many people click through on what URL. Okay, it'll give you certain information about those people. So what you do, okay, is you're going to type in your URL of where you want to send people on your campaign. Okay, the campaign source, so are you sending people to your website from an email campaign, like an emailer that you've sent out? So here I just put newsletter. Okay, and how is it being sent? So it could just be adverts, CPC, banner, Facebook ad. Here I just put email, and then the name of the campaign as well. So you type all of that stuff in, and what happens is Google automatically, now this is just scrolled down the page, Google automatically creates a campaign URL for those particular parameters, okay? So you've got all of that information included in that link, and you can easily track it, and you can even convert it there, okay? So it's the link that you would then be putting into your emails, and then when people click on it, it'll be tracked to your Google Analytics, so you can see it right on Google on your analytics page, okay? So this is where the importance of URLs comes into play and how you would be tracking those, okay? And you have here the full URL, but then you can also, let me just get my clicker. You can also use a shortened URL to make it a little bit tidier for when your audience reads it, okay? So that it's not as long or cumbersome, okay? So now when anyone clicks on this URL to get to your website, they will then be tracked through your analytics. So this way you can measure the effectiveness of that email campaign. Okay, this is going to be in your toolkit notes as well, and it's a really awesome campaign builder, but it is on those slides, okay? Using things like analytics and getting this data, this is the crystal ball of digital marketing. You now have accountability in your actions where you can see the actual traction that your actions are getting from your marketing campaigns and from your efforts, okay? And just actually a side note as well, if you're using MailChimp, they create the URLs for you. So this is just if you're using your own newsletters or something, or you want to track it on your own, but they do help you out with that. So here I'm going to cover a couple of the buzzwords that we use, or, you know, a little bit of jargon, a little bit of terminology that we use in our analytics kind of lexicon, okay? I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you guys to type it into your chat box, but I will answer it as we go. What is a hit, a website hit? So this is a request to a web server for a file if someone lands on your website, okay? When they land on your website, it's a hit. So if they click something, end up on your website, doesn't matter what page, it's a hit. A more accurate measure of web traffic is how many page views a website has, okay? How many page views someone has, not even someone, it's just in total, how many people, how many eyes have fallen on each page, okay? A visit is one session a visitor has on your website. So every month, one visitor could have a bunch of visits, and in one visit, there could be a multitude of web page views, okay? Then there are unique visitors, okay? That is how many different people visited my website over a certain period, a period in question. Then there is your average page per visit. So that is on average how many pages were visited on each person's visit to your site, okay? Then the average visit duration is obviously then how long the average person spends on your website, okay? Again, it's not the exact number, it is an average of everybody who's visited. Okay, and then your bounce rate, it's people who come to your website and they land on any page, but they land on one page and then they leave. Okay, you always want to try and get that number down as much as possible, and you will always have a bounce rate. It's normal, and it happens, right? People might come to your site just to check something out quickly and then leave. Think about someone going to check train times or, you know, the time of a movie. There are bounce rates there, okay? You just want to manage this where you can and keep the number as low as you can, but it's not something that you can negate in full. It is, you know, there's also, when we're talking about page visits, okay, there's visits and revisits. So when you're looking at your percentage of new visitors, consider people might delete their cookies and their cache. Remember, you know, I don't know if you've seen it, if you've had any technical confusion about connecting with one of our lessons, we do advise you to delete your cookies and cache, okay, because once you do that, you come on as a whole new visitor. Okay, people also use different devices, so they might use their PC and their mobile, so it doesn't count as one person, it counts as a multitude of different visits. Okay, and then there is the use of different browsers on the same device, which will give you a higher number of new visits. You know, if someone logs onto your page on Chrome and then they log onto it on Firefox or, you know, Internet Explorer, then it counts as a totally new visit. Right, and as far as your bounce rates go, a normal number would be around 50%. Okay, 50% bounce rate, which is totally fine. It's not the best in the world, But once you're heading towards, 70, 80, 90%, then you've got a bit of an issue, and you do need to look into that. Okay, so moving on from that, there's something I want to show you just in terms of collecting data called Google Analytics. And I know that I've explained this to you a little bit before, but it is pretty straightforward to get it started up. Okay, so this is just the landing page. You type in www.google.com/analytics, as you can see there at the top of the page. Here we go, over there. Okay, or just type it into Google, and then it'll bring you to that page. You click sign in or sign up. Okay, and it, once you go to Google Analytics and you have a Gmail account, you do need a Gmail account for this. You follow a couple of steps to get it set up. Right, and then once you've got it all set up and you've put in all your information about your website and all of that, and you've created your account, you are then taken to this page, which gives you your unique ID. Okay, and what you do from here is you put this onto every page of your website that you need to track. Okay, that's your tracking ID. And then you want to put it onto all website pages. All right, so you go to the back end of your site in the coding or whatever CMS you're using, and you put this code in, and what it'll do is it'll allow Google Analytics to track that page and measure the data and the traffic that's coming through on that. So they don't analyze the information for you, but they do gather all of that data and they present it to you in a way, a shape and form, so that you can start analyzing that data that they are collecting on your website. And it makes it much easier to then understand and then make decisions on that information. Okay, so when it comes to actually reading that information, let's have a look here. This is just your kind of landing page when you click into demographics and location. Okay, we do go over this a lot more in the more advanced modules, in the later modules, module 2 specifically, okay? But we talk about your demographics, and it shows you where all of your traffic comes from around the world. And it's very good for demographic information in that you can drill down to the specific town where your website viewers come from. So in this instance, if I was going to sell, let's say, rugby jerseys, I'd want to find out what kind of stock I should order based on the data that I've got. So with this data in front of us, if I was selling jerseys from various countries, I would maybe want to put my stock into England, right? Because they are one of the top visitors to the site. There you go. Maybe followed by Scotland and then Northern Ireland. All right. So it's a really simplified overview of this, but this is the kind of information that you can start to get from all of this. And it's an important piece of information, getting all this data. This is going to help you to guide your decisions going forward. But again, we do look at it in a lot more depth on the advanced course, and we look at data analytics there a little bit more. Okay, so now let's move on to Facebook Insights here. This is another fantastic tool that we have at our disposal for those of us using Facebook for our businesses and our brands. And hopefully after lesson 5, that's the majority of you. Or at least you're thinking about doing it. Because, now we know the power that Facebook has, despite the fact that there are those little algorithms in place. So I want to ask you, and I want you to think about it, and I want you to type it as fast as you can into the chat box. What would we use Facebook Insights for? Who knows why maybe this would be an important tool for us as marketers? So this is all about the idea of using data, okay? Your Facebook Insights is very similar to Google Analytics, but it's just for Facebook and what happens on that platform. And it helps you to know your audience and to see how your content performs, but let's reduce it basically, because ultimately we use it because it is a powerful tool for those wanting to track user interaction on their Facebook page in order to contribute to their greater business and marketing strategy, okay? This is the same as why we would be using Google Analytics. All right, you want to get to know the community that you're engaging with. So what does it look like? Firstly, what do you think the best time to post on Facebook is? When is the best time to post? Guys, there are a lot of theories and articles out there, but it really, and best practices, and they can tell you when exactly people go online and what time of the day and what time of the week. Those are great guidelines, but it really does depend right? It depends when the best time is. We've got to use our analytics and our insights to see what type of traction we're getting from the posts that we're publishing. Are there trends in terms of certain content getting better traction at certain times of the day? Or, are they performing particularly badly at certain times of the day? Or for that matter, actually, which day is best for us to post on? Does our insights show us that a certain day is a better time to post content than other days? Then which type of content does the best for us as well? This is important to know. It's incredibly important to know. By seeing what type of content does the best for you, you can focus on further content that is similar. So if you're posting things that don't get any traffic, then you're going to know you don't need to focus your energy on that kind of content in the future. So this is all information that is going to help you to make better decisions as you move forwards, because you're going to have that data to back up what does well and what does not. This is a great way, having these insights is a great way to prove the necessity of social media in your business as well. So it could help you to up that social budget a little bit. All right, you can also lose content that doesn't work. If it doesn't get traction, just cut it out. Don't waste time on things that are not effective. Or, you could even then try to phrase it a different way. You can also look for spikes. So if something performs really well, or it spikes quite high, you can see exactly what it is, when it was, all of that stuff, and then start to replicate it again in the future, right? You can remarket to your customers on Facebook. Okay, say someone comes to your website, but they leave the site before performing an action. So then they go to their Facebook page and they start looking around and checking out their favorite pages and chatting to their aunt or something. And then they get hit with another message from your website remarketing to them. So this is done through something called the Facebook Pixel, where Facebook is basically showing your ad to relevant users, including people who have been on your website. Okay, this is covered in a lot more detail in the next module as well. And we show you how to do it. Facebook will, of course, allow you to find new customers, as we looked at with targeted advertising. It's a very, very powerful tool there for sure. You can reach out and you can find people that might be interested in your services and products as well. And you can use lookalike audiences and other tools that they offer there as well, which we cover in the advanced modules too. You can also advertise there to people who have visited your site in a similar way to remarketing to them, okay? So there are also a number of tools that allow you to monitor the activities that you're taking part in online as well. So huge amounts of them. So I'm just going to put these on the screen, okay, so that you can take a look at some of them and see if they might help you. So these are going to be in your toolkits and will definitely provide you a bit of guidance in managing this area of your social platforms. Personally, I would suggest Hootsuite and Buffer. Okay, Hootsuite and Buffer are there. You can see Hootsuite on the right hand side there. It is an awesome tool. We do go through it a bit more. I show you how to use it in the advanced modules, but very handy tool. It allows you to track a bunch of different things about a bunch of different social channels. You can read your analytics there, and there is a free version to it. And we'll go into Buffer as well. So I'm not going to go into the rest of them on this lesson because we don't have that much time and I'll go on forever. But I would encourage you to take a look at some of these and see where their services might be able to help you to manage your growth. If anybody uses any of these and really enjoys them, feel free to type them into your peer chat and suggest them to your colleagues in your class, okay? But to have a look into them, if a lot of you are saying the same one, what we can do is create a little bit of a bonus video on it. So I'm just going to give you a quick insight into Buffer as a social media management platform. But I would encourage you to have a look at some of the other ones to see where their services may help you to manage your growth. So now, Buffer and Hootsuite are very similar platforms. They do have different functions and different approaches to the management system. But anybody, if you do use these and you really enjoy them, feel free to put it into your peer group chat as well. But have a look into them. If a lot of people are talking about one in particular, then perhaps I can make a piece of bonus content on that. But let's take a look now at Buffer. Okay, so it's a tool that is used to manage the comings and goings of your social media content across different platforms or different channels that you're using. We call this a social media management platform. So I just wanted to show you a little bit about how it works and why it is so effective. All right, so this, when you open buffer.com, that's the name of it up at the top left, you will come to this page, all right? And what you're going to want to do, the easiest way of doing it is you can sign up or you can sign in with your Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn account, which will sign you up anyway. It is the easiest way to do it is to use these social login buttons, because what it will do is attach your social accounts to the platform automatically. You can add them on your own afterwards, but this is just it's a shortcut. So you can add all sorts of different channels, and then you can create posts for your various social channels off of the same place. But so if you don't wish to use your social logins, you can just fill out your email address and a password there, or just to log in. Okay, so let's take a look. So once you log in, I set up by clicking on sign in with Facebook page. So if you remember, Cupcake Time is our Facebook page, and this is what comes up. Okay, this is your Buffer dashboard. Now what you will start by doing is you can add your accounts by clicking that button there, and it'll bring you to a page here, or any of the other buttons, any of these. Really, if you click any of these, it'll bring you to this page, and you just select which of the social platforms you would like to add and you'd like to manage. So now, with a free trial or a free version, as is the one that I'm showing you to set up here, you will not have access to managing your Instagram or your Pinterest accounts. That only comes with more kind of paid platforms, and I'll show you the prices in just a second, but and they are prices as of this moment, so they may or may not be the same prices at a later stage. Okay, but that's just to give you an idea. There you go and add your pages. Those are your options. All right, so you choose your channels there. Then when you go back to your dashboard, to the front page, it will bring this up, and now you're on your queue. You're kind of here to write your posts and to publish them, or to put them into your queue. Okay, so what you do is you write your post here. Just try it out, play with it a little bit in the beginning. You click add to queue, add your image or video in between if you want to use one, like I've done in the picture. I saved, added to queue, and it brought up the post like this on that front page. Very, very simple. So you might notice there that it's actually given me a time that I didn't select. Okay, so it says 5:10 p.m. I may or may not want to put up the post at that time today. Okay, so what I do is I click settings, and I go down and I click posting schedule. All right, and this is where it'll bring me to my posting schedule, and this is kind of when your posts will be scheduled automatically once you've drafted them. Okay, you can drag them around and change their times and that sort of thing. There's no issue with that once they are drafted. But this is it's a really simple way of going about doing it. So now here we go. Here are your options that are available to you for Buffer. You can get the free individual starter plan. So that is if you're a freelancer, you want to manage your own accounts, you want to just try it out before purchasing. Your monthly price kind of goes up as you get bigger. All right, so you can manage 3 social accounts for free on that individual plan, and you'll notice here you have a slightly lesser selection of the pages that you can manage. So here you've got Pinterest, kind of got Pinterest across the board, and I would assume that you've got more Instagram rights as you get ahead. You can only schedule 10 posts here, whereas on something like Hootsuite you can schedule 30 per month. All right, and it just tells you what you get. But do go and have a look and see whether it's something. I wouldn't suggest paying for it before you know whether it's what you want to use and whether it suits your team. Okay? All right, so on Buffer, you can schedule posts, you can manage your news feeds, you can engage your audience, you can look up your analytics. There is that free version available to us, and I've got some great news for those of you who are working for a charity or an NGO or NPO. There is a 50% discount for NPOs using this service, so you do have to get in touch with them for that, but I would highly suggest it. Alright guys, so I just wanted to cap this section off here with some of the rewards of data analysis in general. Okay, so first, you can get a real-time understanding of your website's performance. You can go onto your site at any time and see how it's doing. I'd give a note of caution here as well. Don't overdo it. It can get very, very addictive to check this constantly. Okay, I know that in one of the media companies I worked in, we had Google Analytics open at all times. There was a screen where we watched the number of people that were live on the site at any given time. So it can get addictive and you check into it often, but you do need to allocate some time to check on your data. Don't get sucked into refreshing it every couple of minutes though. Having access to this data does allow you an honest understanding of the costs and benefits of your marketing. You can now see with this granular data how your efforts are paying off, or in some cases what isn't working. The numbers here are not going to lie to you guys. It allows you to make informed marketing decisions so that you can make better decisions at the beginning and optimize your campaigns at the onset, or to evaluate the data to see if you need to change things up during ongoing campaigns as well. Because with digital, you can do that. You can change halfway through. That is the beauty of it. The data allows you to reach your full potential because you have the data to drive your actions, so you can go into new campaigns with your eyes wide open and knowing what to expect. Because social media platforms also have analytics like Facebook Insights, you're able to shape your social media content and posts to be more effective and to target the right people and to entertain them correctly. Ultimately, guys, what having access to this data does is it allows you to make more informed decisions, keep a leaner budget, and effectively generate more revenue. Alright, so that wraps it up for us. Today we looked at the importance of data, using data to drive sales, some Facebook insights, and I showed you a little bit about Buffer as well. So we're doing our summary. I'm going to give you some career guidance, and we'll do a quick little FAQ as well. And I'm going to give you a little more information about signing up to be a member. Alright, in the next lesson, the final lesson of Module 1, we're going to be talking about strategy, retention, and recurring revenue. Okay, we're going to talk web strategy in general, and that'll be taking some of the content that we're going to be working on in further depth in Module 3, on talking about content specifically. We're going to talk about user-generated content and online reputation management and its importance as well. And of course, we'll do our summary, career guidance, and FAQ at the end. So now, we all know that the world of digital marketing and the world of online is changing constantly. And if I haven't said that enough times during this course, you should know by now that these things change very, very fast, all right? So that does not exclude the industry kind of working in marketing. So my best advice to you in this little career guidance portion is to upskill at all times, as much as you can at every stage. So if that means branching out to doing graphic design, do graphic design, because that will pair beautifully with your digital marketing or your social media marketing. If you do a course in Photoshop or photography, creating content is where the real value is nowadays in marketing and online. That is where a lot of your ad spend is going to go in the future. So I would highly suggest that you upskill in all of these areas. You could also have a look at web development. And guys, these are all courses that we offer here at Show Academy. So they're all stuff that you can do for within that space of being a member, and they're all in the same place. They're all accredited. You know, just for me it would make sense just to stick around with us and to keep upskilling. You've seen that 50% discount that we're running. It just makes no sense to me that you don't carry on with it and do a variety of these different courses. Because once you first select membership at that 50% discount, you lock the price in forever. So you will never be charged more than that amount. Okay, so you've got your 50% discount on all of the courses we have and will ever offer. Okay, so another little bonus piece of content. I hope you guys have been enjoying them so far. I am going to create another bonus piece of content, another bonus video. So type in the number of the content of the video, the bonus video that you would like to see. Type it in there. You can see it on the screen, guys. I want a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. We do aggregate the responses and we will share the appropriate content with you. All right, so type that number in. Type them in. Wonderful. And you should be able to get hold of them 24 hours after the broadcast of this lesson. So now that we are on the final week, folks, just a really quick reminder for those of you who are waiting to upgrade to premium that the offer is almost over. It's almost at an end. So the clock is ticking. Don't wait too long to upgrade or you are going to miss out. So we've had a lot of people inquire about the toolkit and how to access it. So just a really quick reminder at this point that your toolkit and your assignments, the cost of your e-diploma at the end of this course are included in the premium membership. So upgrading is going to save you a huge amount of money, all right, as opposed to just doing the one module. So as you can see here, the assignments at the end of this first module, okay, is going to look like this. You do get a certificate of participation for module 1. For the rest of the modules, you will not get another cert until the end of the course. You have 50 questions on each assignment. You're going to have 4 assignments in total, okay? They are multiple choice questions. 50% is a pass, 70% is a merit, and 85% is a distinction. So, what are you guys waiting for? It is so easy. It's split up so nicely. Multiple choice questions couldn't be easier, especially if you're watching the lessons. And technically it's an open book because you will be doing it in front of your computer and you can access your notes at the same time, okay? That is what your e-diploma will look like. The EQF qualification will only apply to a hard copy diploma, so do be sure to purchase that at the end of your course, okay? But it looks amazing. It's really snazzy on your wall. I wish I could get one for my own course, but it's not meant to be. So now I've got to say, you know, we usually speak to a lot of our students. I'm absolutely delighted constantly to hear how passionate our particular students are, you know, about the topic, and the overall consensus has always been that everybody really enjoys the course and they really benefit immensely, which gives me a huge sense of pride. So I know that I don't want the learning to stop, and I hope you don't either. For me, it's a little bit addictive. So I just want to, guys, look how far you've come in the last 3 weeks and just think about what you've achieved so far. Imagine where you could be in 12 weeks after you finished all of the modules. Imagine what you could achieve. The EQF Level 5 accreditation has caused incredible excitement in the last few months since its release. And it's been incredible to see how many people have seen the amazing value that the qualification has on their lives and careers. And I've had a multitude of students come back to me and tell me that they're now working exactly where they wanted to work. They're all working in the marketing industry and incredibly happy. And that makes me happy. A common complaint as well is that you won't have time to do the course, you know, but it is 2 hours a week. It's exactly the same as it has been. You seem to have been able to manage it for a month. So what's another couple of months going to do, you know? The fact of the matter is that you have to make time in your life, and you've got to make space, you've got to make time, otherwise nothing is going to change. And I can absolutely guarantee you, after you finish this course, if you apply yourself, you will see incredible progress and you'll never ever regret taking the next step. So I'm just going to put it this way. No matter what is holding you back, whether it's being afraid that you're not going to have enough time, or not sure that you're going to have enough money, or thinking that you've already done enough or learned enough, the beauty of our membership is that you can try out all of the courses. If you've got any of these excuses and they're holding you back, then you may never succeed in gaining those skills and qualifications that you want. But what's more than likely going to happen, right, is that you're going to do the course, you're going to love it, you're going to make time for it, it's going to give you a huge sense of self-satisfaction, and you can watch it, you don't have to attend them live, you can watch it via recordings in your own time, and you will more than likely finish the course and you will achieve your goals. So for the cost that it's going for compared to international prices, it is, for me personally, at a monthly cost as well, it's better to know for sure than to kick yourself down the line knowing you missed out on an insanely good opportunity. Right, so our advanced modules, the following modules are coming up. Okay, really cool, 12 more weeks, but it's split up into 3 4-week modules, and each module is designed to allow you to master a particular element of marketing. Okay, so for instance, we've got the content marketing module, which will educate you and skill you up in the ways of creating incredibly rich, vibrant, and effective content that's going to fit straight into your marketing strategy. And then we've got the social media module, which will teach you engagement practices. It'll help you to achieve that revenue on your social platforms. Okay, and so because each module covers a totally different topic, that means total flexibility for you as a student. I mean, you can take all 3 modules in a row, or you can take a break and then come back and watch the recordings if you want to. As long as you complete all 3 modules, that is what's going to give you your EQF level 5, okay? And that is the main thing. Hopefully that sounds good for you guys. I mentioned earlier that the EQF level 5 accreditation is here. It's caused crazy excitement, and we've seen the majority of our students upgrade to get their places on their advanced courses. So I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but I have spoken to a lot of students on the phone who desperately want to do the course, and at around this time they aren't able to access their own space. It is now around about this time, it would be 75% full, if not more so. So I really want to stress that you guys do need to come on, have a look, really get stuck in and make that decision to carry on and achieve your goals with us. You do need to upgrade. You have to be a member in order to secure your place. All right, if you do wait until the end of the week, it's very likely that there won't be a space there. All right, so just a quick reminder again, you'll be getting your reserved module places, your EQF accredited courses, access to all of them, free toolkits for every course that you do, membership discount, and premium support, and yeah, you can do absolutely any course that you would like to, that we offer. All right, so do me that huge big favor, type info into your chat box now. We will send you an automated link with your local currency, and it will, if you click that, you can make a payment for your membership now. So click on the upgrade button at the top of the screen as well. You can do one or the other, or both if you really want to, and you can upgrade straight away. And then I'll see you on the next module. Okay guys, so awesome lesson. So delighted to have you with us. Just last reminder of the prices. So for a monthly membership, it is €39.95, but that's in euros for those who do use euros on a daily basis. For the rest of you, you'll be able to see those prices if you type in info. $33.95, it's broken down to if you pay for a 3-month subscription, but you do make those payments up front, okay? So that would end up costing you €101.85 every 3 months, okay? Or it breaks down to $29.95 over 6 months, which is €179.70 every 6 months. And then the last one is your 12 months, okay? This is the best price. It's the lowest price by far, and that is €300 almost, just 60 cents short of every 12 months. However, do remember different prices in different countries, so don't assume that this is a direct kind of translation of what the price is in your country. Go and have a look, okay, because we do lock those prices. All right, everybody, so if you do need to get in touch with us for any reason for support with myself at digital.marketing@showacademy.com, please do so. Or you can check out our website, go onto the website, log into your student area, go and get hold of all of those notes and have a bit of fun. You can go and watch all your recordings there as well. So, out of time yet again. If you do have those questions, please do send them through to us. This has been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Go and have a play with Buffer and drop me an email. Let me know how you found it. But brilliantly done, guys. Well done, and I will see you at the next lesson. Take care.